deep in the stillness of the Cascade Mountains, where morning fog rolled over moss-draped pines and the cries of distant birds folded into the hush of the forest, there lived a creature few have seen and even fewer have understood. Some would call him Bigfoot, others simply a legend whispered around campfires, but to himself, he was nothing more than a keeper of the forest's secrets. For decades, the creature roamed the valleys and ridgelines, avoiding human trails and moving quietly beneath the canopy. Yet, there was one sound in the world that could shake his calm, stop him mid-step, and stir something deep within his chest. A soft humming melody, impossibly warm against the cold distances of time. It had been many years since he last heard it. The first time was long ago, when he was still young, uncertain of the boundaries between human and beast. On the edge of a meadow at sunset, he had crouched low behind a fallen cedar, watching a woman tend a small fire. Her hair glimmered in the fading light, and as she worked, she hummed a tune so gentle it seemed made of sunlit air. The notes rose and fell with the rhythm of her motions, weaving themselves into the whispering of the grass. Bigfoot did not know her language, nor the meaning of her words when she later sang them, but the melody itself felt like a message. It was a sound of safety, of belonging. The encounter was fleeting. She left before darkness claimed the meadow, and he never approached. To do so would have risked shattering the fragile magic between them. Yet, from that evening on, the melody lived in his mind. He would hum it silently to himself when winter storms raged and snow buried the trails. In spring, he would listen to the streams and imagine they carried the tune in their bubbling currents. It became part of him, something he returned to without knowing. Why only that it reminded him of warmth and connection in a world that often seemed vast and indifferent. Years passed, each carrying him deeper into solitude. The mountains offered endless company owl calls at night, the rustle of deer moving through fern groves, but no human voice crossed his path. He knew humans came and went, leaving footprints and half-faded scents, but never that melody. And so the waiting began. Not a restless, anxious waiting, but a patient kind, woven into the rhythm of his life. He did not measure the years by seasons, but by the absence or presence of that tune. His heart held the image of the woman and the fire and the fading gold light, like a single ember protected from the wind. Sometimes he wondered if the melody had been his imagination. Perhaps no human could sing such a thing, and he had invented it out of longing. But the memory was too sharp, too vivid. The way each note had curled into the next, the way the hummed rhythm matched the flicker of flames. It was real. And real things, he believed, could return if one waited long enough. So he moved through the valleys, always listening. When dawn spread across the treetops, when rain whispered over leaves, when the wind carried voices from distant camps. One autumn evening, after many years of silence, he sensed something familiar. The air was cooling, scented with cedar sap and the faint sweetness of ripening berries. The sky blushed orange and violet, filtering through the thin veil of smoke from fires far away. He paused by the edge of a mountain lake, his reflection shivering in the ripples. Then so faint he thought it might be part of the forest itself. It came. The humming drifted over the water, carrying the same lilting rise and fall he had treasured. It was older now, deepened, as if the voice had traveled through its own seasons. But it was unmistakable. The notes wrapped around him like the first warmth after frost. His chest tightened, and for a moment he forgot to breathe. He turned toward the source, scanning the opposite bank, where in the shadows of spruce trees a figure moved. The firelight flickered again, smaller this time, but real, and there she was, the same woman, though the years had carved gentler lines on her face. She hummed as she worked, tending the flames. Bigfoot stepped closer to the lake's edge, careful not to disturb even a pebble. He could not cross. The distance between them was not just the water but a gulf of understanding, yet it did not matter. She paused for a moment, looking out toward the lake as though sensing an unseen audience. Their eyes did not meet, but the melody continued, carrying its quiet magic across the years as if no time had passed. In that moment, Bigfoot understood why he had waited. The years were not wasted, they were part of the journey toward this single instant, when the memory was no longer just something he carried alone. The melody existed again in the world, breathing through the air between them. It was proof that some connections do not fade, that patience can sustain hope until it flowers later, often when least expected. The humming eventually quieted, replaced by the crackle of the fire. She gathered her belongings and walked deeper into the shadows, her footsteps folding into the forest. Bigfoot did not follow. He simply stood by the lake, the melody repeating in his mind, stronger than ever. There was no sadness, only gratitude. He had heard it again, felt its warmth, and that was enough. In the seasons that followed, he carried the tune with a renewed brightness. It reminded him that even in solitude, there could be moments of deep, unspoken connection. The forest was vast, but it was not empty. Somewhere out there, voices sang, fires burned, and melodies lingered, proof that beauty can reappear, even after years of silence. And for Bigfoot, that made the waiting not just bearable, but profoundly worth it. Would you like me to also create a title card and short synopsis so that this story could be presented as a magazine-style feature? That could make it feel even more polished and inspirational.